Hello BookTube! Today I'm going to be doing the I Own Too Many Books tag. I was tagged by Amanda over at the Glittery Book Nerd. I believe is her channel name, but I will have her linked down below along with the creator of this tag and the questions just in case you guys want to do this. I never tag anybody to do tags because I think that anyone who wants to do them should be able to do them. So if you're watching this, you are tagged. So the first question is the book that you have owned the longest, and that for me is Anne Frank, or The Diary of Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Obviously, as you can see, this thing has been extremely worn and it's just been used so much. And I mean, I got this when I was very young. My maiden name is Frank, and so I just felt like all through my childhood I had a really big connection with her, and I loved reading her story so much, and obviously I read it over and over and over again. I love this book. Next is the book that you've had the longest that you haven't read yet, and I got Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I actually have the first 3 books in this series, or maybe it's a trilogy, I don't know, but I have the whole thing, and I have been meaning to read it for forever. I mean, I love Wizard of Oz retellings, and I'm just super excited to reread this, but I just never got around to it. And I've had this for probably about 3 years. Any book that I've had longer than this, I've already read, so I couldn't use that book for this question. But yeah, I've had this quite a while, and I really need to get on it. Question number 3 is that book that you hated that you probably should have gotten rid of by now. And for me, I have no attachment to books, especially if I hate them. So I'm really good at unhauling them and just giving them away to a used bookstore or to Goodwill or my library or something like that. It's just super easy for me. I go to one of these 3 places quite often, so it's easy for me to just pick up a couple of the books that I don't want and drop them off and donate them. But I did pick a book that I have no interest in reading anymore, and I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it yet, and that is The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. And this is a historical fiction, I think. I got this a long time ago when I was a history major, and I consider myself a historian, and I have a huge passion for history, and I just don't know why I don't want to read this book anymore. I think it's more of a art history book, and I don't even know. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. And also it's really big, and I'm just kind of intimidated by it, and I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I feel like I just have too much of a connection to my historical fiction books because they're the ones that really got me into reading, and so I don't know. Maybe I'll get rid of it soon. Maybe not. Question number 4 is a book that someone pressured you into reading and you don't want to read it anymore. And for me, that's the House of Night series by PC and Kirsten Cast. And my old boss, I used to work at this used bookstore, and my old boss was obsessed with this series. And she was like, you need to read it, you need to read it. And we had doubles of a lot of these books. So I just grabbed them, and you know, we work at a used bookstore, so we get used books in all the time. And every now and again, she would let me grab some of the books that I wanted. So I grabbed one of the extras of all that we had in this series, and I think this is the first 5 or 6 because this one has 2 books in it. But anyway, it's just I don't have any interest in reading anymore, and the only reason why I've held on to it is that maybe because she loved this series, loved, and constantly raved about it. And so I'm thinking maybe one day in the next decade or so I'll pick it up, which is why I haven't gotten rid of it yet. But I don't know. We'll see. Question number 5 is that book on your TBR that you want to read next. For me, that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This has been on my TBR for a while, and I actually just got around to buying a physical copy of it, so super excited about that. I have so many library books on hold and checked out to me right now that I'm probably not going to get to this in a while. I try to go back and forth, a library book and an owned book, and a library book and an owned book, but it's just not happening because I have so many checked out from the library at the moment. But yeah, I'm hoping to get to this next on my physical owned books TBR. Question number 7, I think, I can't keep track of these, is that book you bought that one time at the bookstore and haven't read yet. And I went with Rook by Sharon Cameron. This is an alternate history set in France, and I was so excited about this. I think I bought this for my birthday this year, and I just bought if you guys have not seen my birthday book haul, I will link it down below because it is insane. And I just Haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I think it is a gorgeous book. I'm really excited about the premise, but I just keep looking over it and not putting it at the top of my priority for some reason. If you guys have read this, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. The next question is that book that you spend all of your money on, and for me that is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Now, a little bit of story behind this book. It came out in February last year, and me and my husband we're moving in May. We moved to St. Pete from Orlando in May, and so in February, at the end of February when this came out, we knew that we were needing to save up so that we could move, and we were trying to like not spend all of our money. But Victoria Aveyard and a couple other authors came to the Orlando area for a book tour, for a signing, and I couldn't pass it up. I mean, at the time before this book came out, it was just the biggest thing in young adult, and I love hyped books. I'm a sucker for books that have a lot of hype. So I needed it. I needed to meet Victoria Aveyard. I needed to get her to sign my book. So me and my husband splurged. We drove 30 minutes away to the bookstore, spent the money on the book, waited in line for like 3 hours and listened to them talk so that she could sign my book. And then, you know what I mean, time is money, and I bought a coffee. All around, the trip was expensive, but I had so much fun. Victoria Aveyard is like the sweetest person ever, and like I said, she signed my book. So while I didn't spend an exorbitant amount on the book itself, I spent a lot of time and effort into this book and meeting Victoria Aveyard, and it was a great experience, and I don't regret it at all. The next question is the prettiest book on your bookshelf, and I have so many gorgeous books, but I narrowed it down to Magonia by Maria Devana Headley, another book that I have not read yet, and another book that I bought for my birthday this year, and I just had to have, and I think it's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it in the thing, but it's like shiny depending on like what angle you're looking at it from, and just the feather with the birds, and I just think it's the most gorgeous thing ever. And I mean, this is on my top 5 of the books that I own, prettiest books, but it's just beautiful. This is the first one that came to my mind, and so it was just easy for me to pick it, but I love this cover. And the next book is your ugliest book. For me, that's gonna have to be Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Haven't read this. Again, it's one of those things where my old boss like raved about this series, and so I bought the whole thing, and I haven't read it yet. I don't know why, but I think this cover is hideous. I hate people on the cover. I don't know. I just think it's ugly. I don't like the color. I don't like why does she look red? I feel like people need to have regular skin tone. People are not red like that. I don't know. I just don't like it, and it's just not my favorite. The newer covers that they came out with that have just like the VA, I think, look a lot better. It's just simple and gets the point across, and there's no reason for a girl to be on the cover like that. Just no reason at all. And the last thing is to show us all of your books. So I'll stand up and I'll show you all of my books now. Alright, so this is where I keep all of my books. This is my living room. I only have like a 1-bedroom apartment, so it's the most convenient place to have all of my books. But right here, most of these up here are the science fictions. Those are my husband's. And then I have contemporary. The classics are like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over here I have historical fictions. These are young adult historical fictions. And then some miscellaneous like general fiction, non-fiction, and then here and here I have like vampire books and witch books and stuff like that. And then this is my main bookshelf where I keep most of my like popular young adult, fantasy young adult. This corner up here is where I keep my most of my retellings, except for Cinder and Winter and Stars Above, and then also some miscellaneous ones. Adult fantasy, Stephen King has his own little cube there. This is my middle grade, my 2 middle grade shelves. Some more non-fiction that I just couldn't find a place for, and then this one right here, this one, and this one is mostly, and that one is mostly like my popular young adult, mostly fantasy stuff. So, yep, that is all of my books, kind of like a mini bookshelf tour. Oh, and up here are all of my library books that I have, and just some knickknacks and things. And alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I love doing this all. It was super fun. Like I said, if you guys want to do this tag, you are officially tagged. Link your video down below if you did this tag because I tagged you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!